It was the aftermath of being put to sleep. I feel really drunk. That's the best way to feel what I'm feeling right now. I feel like I had a good amount of alcohol, like probably like 8 or 10 shots of liquor. To sum this up, when I initially came in here, like my arms were numb and my chest was numb, but that was because I was freaking out, and they kept talking to me and kind of calmed me down a little. I don't even remember what the hell happened. I really don't. But to sum it up, honestly, I would, like, before this happened, I was scared. Like, out of 1 in 10, I was like a 20 out of 10 on how scared I was. But now that I've done it and it was over, I feel like it was like maybe a 2 out of 10 on how scary it was. So I feel like I was just overthinking it, and it really wasn't that bad.
Nice to meet you. That's just a list that he gave us.
Yeah.
So we're just saying, yes, you can continue your medicines.
I feel like I just had 10 shots of whiskey.
Are you recording yourself? I have a daughter who's 23, so old enough.
Well, stay tuned for more.
First damn thing I can eat in a day and a half. I'm starving. Hi, sporks! The traumatizing doctor visit is finally over. And now, you guessed it, time to talk about the experience! I finally found out what was wrong with me. And the part that is kind of annoying, I put it off for so long because I was too much of a bitch to get this done several years ago. So this problem that I do have has gotten pretty bad, but it's still treatable. Pretty soon I can finally go back to feeling like my old self again. In other words, more spazzing out than ever, as if I already didn't do that enough. It explains why I feel tired and lightheaded and fatigued, and why I'm losing so much weight. Why do I have gut problems? Why do I have diarrhea? All that good stuff. Finally figured out. So what do I have? There's a couple things wrong here. Number 1, I have ulcers. Ew. That would partially explain part of the reason why I have mild gut pain from time to time. I have ulcers, which kind of bummed me out because after I finally conquered my fear and got this doctor visit over with, you know, being put to sleep, that's like one of the few things I was actually afraid of. I'm not really scared of a whole lot of things, but apparently that was one of the things that I was afraid of. So when I finally got that out of the way, I wanted to celebrate by getting drunk. Vodka, because I haven't had vodka in a while and I was gonna mix it. But then it's like I have ulcers, and you're not supposed to be drinking alcohol if you have ulcers until you get rid of it, because alcohol can make the ulcers worse. So unfortunately, as I'm making this video today, normally I was planning on having a bottle of vodka right here with like a bottle of Sprite, because that's what I bought. Bought a bottle of Sprite and a bottle of vodka to make drinks with. And I was gonna have it right here making drinks and drinking drinks while I was making this video. But after I found out I have ulcers, I can't drink until I get rid of these fucking ulcers. Boo-hoo! Cry me a river. The retard can't have booze one time. Who gives a shit? I haven't really drank in like 4 months anyway. It's not like it matters. It's just kind of disappointing because this is a really, really exciting time that's happening right now. Finally got this out of the way. Finally found out what was wrong with me. I wanted to celebrate, and I just got kind of annoyed that I can't celebrate with booze. So I'm just gonna celebrate the old-fashioned way by spazzing out. The second thing that's wrong with me, which is the worst part of it all, I have Crohn's disorder. Now, I thought almost for sure that it was gonna be small bacterial overgrowth because I was having literally every symptom of small intestinal bacterial overgrowth, or SIBO for short. If you want to look that up, literally just type SIBO. Takes like 2 seconds. What are the symptoms and how it's treated? It's usually treated with antibiotics and possibly a mix of probiotics too. I thought that was what it was. I'm glad I didn't actually bet money on it because I was close, sure, but no cigar. It is Crohn's disorder, which I'm not really too surprised about that either because my cousin told me she has Crohn's. She told me she had SIBO as well, which that's not surprising because that's getting SIBO, or just a bacterial overgrowth problem in general. When you have a bowel disorder like I do, it's pretty common, but it's also easily treatable. Who cares? But I'm not surprised also because, not only because my cousin has it, but also because I for sure have celiac. I mean, they're still testing to see if they can even find it, but they still told me, once again, it might be difficult to actually diagnose celiac because I've already been gluten-free for such a long time that it really is difficult to diagnose celiac if you've already been gluten-free. Through a blood test, it's next to impossible. It's going to trigger a bunch of false positives or whatever. Because through a blood test, they test through celiac by basically looking for specific antibodies. And those antibodies are only present if you have consistent amounts of gluten. And if you don't, then they're not going to be present, so they're not going to be detectable in a blood test. They did a blood test for celiac, and it came back negative because obviously I've had celiac since sometime after I was 21. I've had it for several years now. And since then, I've been trying to avoid gluten like the plague, and apparently I've been doing something right because I've been tested twice for celiac with a blood test, and they never found anything. It goes kind of into a dormant state. The celiac problem only comes out when you have gluten. That's why I can't even breathe around an environment that has gluten stuff in it. Otherwise, I start, guaranteed, I will start feeling itchy. I'll start feeling, my body will start aching. I'll feel fatigued. My gut will hurt. I'll start pissing out my ass. I have at least a dozen different symptoms. It feels like I'm having multiple allergic reactions, pain. And it's not some of the time, it's not most of the time, it's all the time. If I have something that has even a tiny bit of gluten in it, guaranteed within 2 to 5 hours on average, I will notice something. Typically, I'll start feeling a little bit itchy, or I'll start feeling slightly fatigued or something like that, or my gut will start feeling rumbly. Something along those lines, I will feel those symptoms. I've also been tested for food allergies. I have no food allergies. I don't even have a wheat allergy, which is kind of surprising. But then again, that just further confirms that it is celiac and it's not a wheat allergy, because my food allergies came back all negative. I'm not allergic to wheat. So it goes to show that gluten is ultimately the culprit here. That being said, I wouldn't say that I have an intolerance either, because intolerances aren't so extreme. You might just get like a little bit of gut discomfort or diarrhea, or you might get nauseous. But when I have gluten, it's so extreme, especially if I have it consistently. The symptoms are much more extreme. It doesn't feel like an intolerance at all. It feels like it's definitely celiac. But I haven't exactly gotten all of the results back from this gut doctor visit. I only got the initial results from what they found, but they're still testing the samples that they took from my gut and my butthole. They will tell me within the next few days if there's anything else. But initially what they found is that I have Crohn's and I have ulcers. That was obviously the first thing that I asked my doctor, is this treatable? And he said, yes, it's perfectly treatable. You should, after we get you on treatment, you should start feeling a lot better, and you should also start gaining weight. And that was like heaven in my ears, hearing that when he told me, the first thing that he told me was, after we get you on treatment, you should start gaining weight, because I'm 20 pounds underweight right now. I'm still 20 pounds underweight. Even though I've been eating a lot, I've been trying to work out, I'm still 20 pounds underweight. The first thing he told me was I was gonna start gaining weight after they get me on some sort of treatment. I was like, yeah, bitches, I'm back. Oh, baby. Well, not only am I going to be able to have my body and my life back to the way it was a few years ago, but that also means a lot more drunk videos. I miss making drunk videos, damn it. I miss riding this stupid mini bike drunk, even though I haven't ridden this one specifically drunk yet. I used to always ride that bigger camo colored mini bike drunk all the time. That was like my drunk bike days. That was back when I was always getting drunk and riding my mini bike around. Oh, it was so fun. I was riding up and down this exact street all the way from my house to Greg's house on that mini bike drunk. It was so damn fun. I remember riding down this road at pitch darkness one time, and I was drunk. There were a bunch of construction signs in the middle of the road, and I remember smacking into one of them, and I was like, whoa, and then I was good. But then I smacked into another one, and that's when I crashed. I didn't even give a shit. I was just lying in the middle of the road laughing my ass off like, This one dude drove by and he was like, you all right? And I was like, yeah, I'm awesome. That was awesome. No, I didn't even get hurt. I mean, I was wearing a helmet and wearing all my ski gear because I remember it was freezing. So I kind of munched up my ski gear. That's why I do not like wearing that when I'm riding any kind of bikes. From now on, I'm wearing my motorcycle stuff because that is meant to take a pounding. Oh, giggity. I wanted to talk about my experience of being put to sleep. It was my first time doing it, and I was scared shitless. So pretty much what happened was I had to be there at 11. It started at 11, and I was just waiting around in suspense for like a good 40 minutes. So I lie down in the bed, and they started asking me random questions about like medical history. You know, did you finish all of your diarrhea juice? All this random stuff. They're just asking me random questions. Like every minute that passed, I felt like I was more and more in suspense. It was so nerve-wracking because I didn't know when exactly we were going to get to the point and actually get this over with already. They're just asking me like random questions, and I was just sitting there like just really nervous, wondering like, when are we going to start this already? I was sitting in that reclining bed for like a good 30 minutes. 3 or 4 different doctors like kind of walked in and out, and they were talking to me. I remember I was getting so nervous that my arms started feeling like fuzzy and weird because I was freaking out, even though I was just like sitting there and I looked like I was calm, but really I was kind of like this. I guess how I react towards like when I'm trying to face my fears is the first time that I was scared shitless over something. Nothing even happened yet. My arms just felt like fuzzy and weird because I was so tense and so like terrified over nothing. They started hooking up random stuff like the heart rate monitor. They put something on my finger, monitor things like one here and like one here and stuff like that, those little sticker things on random places. And then they eventually put the IV in my arm. And at first, it was kind of a pain in the ass for them getting the IV in my arm because I was apparently dehydrated. Like, no shit, they told me I couldn't have any water like 3 hours beforehand, so I didn't have anything to drink for several hours. So they ended up getting the IV in my arm anyway, and they ended up giving me some fluids just so it would make it easier. So after they got the IV in my arm, probably 10 minutes after that, well, they knew how nervous I was, and it pretty much got to the point of where I was last time. Like 3 years ago, I made it to the point of where I was last time. They saw how freaked out I was. The IV was in my arm. We were a few minutes away from actually doing it. And they asked me the same question. Are you sure you want to go through with this? We don't have to do this if you don't want to. And that's what happened last time. And I told them, I don't want to do this. I want to leave. I can't do this. I don't want to do this. Like, I want to get out of here or something like that. But the only difference was this time is that I didn't back out because I knew how bad my bowel problems were getting. And I knew that the future of my health, my life, the Being a Retard series, it all depended on my choice. And I knew that. That's why, scared as I was, I couldn't back out this time. So I told them, like, I have to do this. I don't have a choice. So I told them I want to get this over with. A few minutes after that, they proceeded to push the bed that I was in into another room. And the room that there were a bunch of curtains around, and it was like there were a row of beds. There were like a bunch of beds. There were a couple other people sitting in the other beds, and there were like curtains dividing the beds. I was on one of the reclining beds, and there were curtains like, you know, surrounding outward like this, and then like, you know, the front opening, there was no curtain. It was just like curtains covering the left and right sides for the most part, and then there was like a small opening in the front where they were walking in and out of. They're pushing me on the bed into another room. And when I got into the other room, it was kind of dark. Like there were no lights on. There was like, it was kind of a pretty dim lit room, and it was kind of a closed room. There were like computers everywhere. There were monitors and everything. I saw like some doctors sitting on a chair, like on a computer or something. There were like 3 or 4 doctors in the room, I think. And keep in mind, at this point, I was already scared shitless. I didn't feel like I was going to get any more scared at this point. I feel like I was at my limit at that point. So I kind of felt the same. I was kind of, if anything, I was kind of calming down a little bit at that point, because I figured this is my fate. This is going to happen one way or another. So we can either do this and be brave or do this and be a bitch. So at this point, I kind of just gave in, and I just didn't really care anymore at that point. The part that was kind of scary, though, is that the room looked kind of like the room I had in my nightmare, because before this happened, like a week or two ago, I had like 2 or 3 nightmares of being put to sleep. One of the nightmares I had, the room looked pretty similar. I think that was kind of the freaky part, except the room in my nightmare was a lot darker. It looked a lot more black. But other than that, it just reminded me of one of the dreams I had of this happening. Because I had a dream of they were putting me to sleep, but there was only one nurse in the room, and they were putting me to sleep, and then the nurse just walked out of the room, and then I was just sitting in the room by myself, and I felt like I was being put to sleep, but I never went to sleep. I just started feeling super, really drowsy, and I was like, what the hell is going on? I tried to get out of the bed, and I ended up falling out of the bed and slamming onto the floor, and I was just like, I couldn't even get up because I was so damn drowsy, and it was like I was just going through a trip. I was like, what the fuck? And then I woke up, and I was like, oh, it was just a dream. The room that I went into looked kind of like the one in my dream, so it was kind of trippy at first. They rolled me into the room on the bed, and I was in that room for maybe a couple minutes. I wasn't even paying attention to what they were doing. I don't even know what they were doing. But all I know is I was in a different room, and a couple minutes after they rolled me into the room, they told me to roll over onto my left side. So I rolled over to my left side, and I knew that, okay, you know, this is going to happen now. So it's now or never. I better, you know, I had to have my game face on. You know, I had to be brave because it was about to happen. When they actually started putting me to sleep, I don't even remember if they were telling me anything, or if they were like talking to me or whatever. It's kind of a blur. I really don't remember. All I remember is I was lying in the bed. I was seconds away from like being put to sleep. So how did it feel exactly? You know, let's just get to the point already. How did it feel being put to sleep? It didn't feel like anything. I honestly, literally did not feel anything. I didn't feel any burning sensation in my arm. I didn't even feel them giving me the medicine. My body didn't feel anything. I literally felt nothing. Like it was kind of surprising how I did not feel a single thing. Like my body didn't feel fuzzy and numb. It didn't feel like I was floating on a cloud or nothing. Literally all I felt was a little bit drowsy, and I didn't even feel like really drowsy. It wasn't like an extreme feeling. It was very, very mild. Like I just felt just very slightly drowsy. Like I definitely noticed it, that I started feeling a little bit drowsy. I started feeling a little bit drowsy, and then maybe 3 or 4 seconds after I started feeling drowsy, that was it. It was already over. I didn't even notice that I fell asleep. Like that was the weird part. And next thing I know, I was already in another room. And they told me I was sleeping for like a good 45 minutes. And it felt like I was sleeping for like 30 seconds. The trippy part about all that was it felt like literal time travel. Because I didn't even know that anything even happened. Like, it's basically for like maybe 3 or 4 seconds of them giving me the medicine, I felt a little bit drowsy, just a little bit. And then next thing I know, like 40 minutes already passed and it was already over. I was in another room. And when I woke up, like I still didn't feel anything. I just felt like I took a nap. Like I know when I was making the video and I woke up and my phone was already in my hands. I guess they just gave me my stuff back because I was waking up and I had my phone already. So I was just waking up and I felt kind of drowsy. Like I just woke up and I was just like, what? I was kind of tripping at that point because I was like, what even happened? So I made a video and I was talking about like, man, did I just drink like a bunch of liquor or something? Because I feel like I'm kind of drunk. But when I really think about it though, I didn't feel drunk because like I was really out of it at the time. But now when I really think about it, it just felt like I took a nap and I woke up like I normally do. And I just felt like I woke up from falling. I just felt like I fell asleep and I just woke up from taking a nap. That's the best way I can really describe how it felt. And of course, literally the very second that I woke up, I had to record something because this is the ultimate video. Being a Retard 8000. We all know every time I reach the next 1,000 videos, I like to do something different. I don't care what it is. I just want to do something different. It doesn't even have to be exciting. It's just I want it to be something that's kind of out of the ordinary, something that I haven't really done yet. And so obviously I figured this would be the perfect time. You know, being a Retard 8000, everything all led up to this video. So I figured this would be the perfect opportunity to make, you know, the next special video because I don't really know what else to do for 8000 that I haven't already done like a couple hundred times already. This is something that has never happened to me yet. So that's why, of course, as soon as I woke up, I started, you know, obviously recording how I was feeling, and I was really spacing off at the time because I just woke up. And now here we are talking about it. Like I knew, as scared as I was, like I was a flat out 10 out of 10 on the scared scale. But after it's all said and done, it was like maybe 2 out of 10 on how scary it was. Like if I had to do it again for whatever reason, I wouldn't really care. I wouldn't make a big deal out of it. I would just be like, next time they're about to put me to sleep, I'd be just flat out like, all right, boys, I'm ready to enter the Matrix. Let's do this. I'm going to go fight Agent Smith or whatever. It's not a big deal. Like for anyone out there that happens to see this video, like nobody's going to see this fucking video. I get like 10 views of video. But let's say that out of those 10 views, what if one of you watching this video has never been put to sleep for like a doctor procedure before? And let's say at some point in your life, you know, you have to be put to sleep to do some sort of surgery or to do something that I did, whatever. I mean, take it from someone like me. I'm paranoid. I'm a bitch when it comes to this kind of thing. I have anxiety. I was scared out of my fucking mind. But when I actually had to do it, you know, at the end of the day, this is my experience. It's not nearly as bad. It's not bad at all. It really isn't. I was just overthinking it. I really was overthinking it. I thought that, oh, I'm going to die. Oh, I'm going to have a really bad reaction. It's going to be really trippy. Or, you know, I'm not going to wake up. Or, you know, I was just overreacting and thinking that something really bad was going to happen. But literally nothing bad happened at all. It didn't feel anything. If anyone watching this video ever has to do this like I did for whatever reason, I'm telling you now, there is absolutely nothing scary about it. The only thing that's scary about it is the fact that you've never done it before and you don't know what to expect. You know, it's perfectly understandable knowing that you've never felt this before, you've never gone through this. So just being knocked out in like 5 seconds, it just seems really intimidating. And, you know, a lot of people might be afraid of that. They might wonder like, ooh, that sounds really trippy. I don't want to do that. It's not trippy at all. Like I really felt nothing. Like And I know that some people may feel a little bit different. It may be a little bit of a different experience based on, from person to person. But at the end of the day, I've heard the same stories from pretty much everyone that I've seen, videos I've seen, people I've talked to. Even my own mom has gone through it like 5 or 6 times. And they've all told me the same thing. Like, you don't really feel anything. You just fall asleep. It feels like you're just taking a nap. Except only instead of tossing and turning for however long it normally takes you to fall asleep, the medicine skips all that bullshit and just gets to the point, and it just makes you fall asleep right away. But other than that, it really doesn't feel any different than how it normally would feel if you just lie down in bed and you're really tired for whatever reason and you just kind of doze off. That is exactly the best way I can explain how this medicine feels. You fall asleep, it makes you feel a little bit drowsy, you fall asleep, and you don't even know what the hell happened. You just take a little nap, and then you wake up, and next thing you know, you've been asleep for like a good 40 minutes. They tell you you've been asleep for like 40 minutes, but it felt like you've been asleep for like 30 seconds. And that's really the only trippy thing about it, is that it felt like you were only asleep for like 30 seconds. They tell you you were asleep for almost a straight hour. And it was like, how? It didn't feel like that at all. So now that I finally know what's wrong with me, and I'm waiting for the rest of the results to come in, and I have a follow-up in the next few weeks to finally get on to some treatment so I can feel better, all that's left to talk about is what I normally talk about every time I reach 1,000 videos. What is happening with being a retard? Am I going to keep making these stupid videos? Is it over? How much farther am I going to go with this? Well, the answer is pretty much the same. I do plan on making more of these videos, obviously. I want to make more of these videos, and especially knowing that I found out what's wrong with me and I'm going to get better, I definitely want to make more videos. Are you shitting me? I want to make more videos than ever. Now that I'm going to start having more energy and everything is going to look better and better from here onward, yeah, I'm going to make more Being a Retard videos. I really do. Like, I don't know how much farther I want to actually go with it. I'm just taking it day by day at this point. But I'm for sure going to want to go for 9,000 Being a Retard videos. Like, that is definitely on the bucket list for the time being. And then after I reach 9,000... we all know what'll happen. I'll talk about, like, do I want to keep doing this or not? Or do I want to just do something else? Do I want to stop making the videos? So I'm looking forward to finally getting better over the next few weeks. This is Being a Retard 8,000. It is finally done. We have reached 8,000 videos. So basically what's going to happen after this is I do plan on, continuing making more of these videos, but I'm going to take a little bit of a break. Not a long break, but I'm going to take a little bit of a break from making these videos. I'm only going to be taking a break from making these videos for maybe like 1 or 2 months, because I really would like to get treated already and get rid of the stupid problem and feel better. So that's why over the next few weeks, I kind of just want to relax. I want to, go for 200 mil fletching XP on RuneScape, which I'm already really close to that. So that's pretty much all I'm going to be doing is that, and just waiting for the results to come back to see if they found any other problems. And then a few weeks from now, I'm going to be doing a follow-up visit to finally fix this problem. And then after I'm finally starting to feel better and my health problems are starting to improve, I will start making more of these dumbass videos towards 9,000 videos. Enjoy this final video, because I'm going to take a good month or 2 of a break from making these stupid videos and focus on my health and try to get better before I come back and make more of these dumb videos, because when I do come back and make these videos again, I'm coming back in full force, folks. I'm going to be spazzing out, and I'm going to be crazier, more spastic and retarded than ever. Not only that, but the drunk videos will make their comeback. I'm going to be making a lot of drunk videos because I want to celebrate properly, folks. So I'm going to be celebrating with a lot of booze. Stay tuned for that, and just stay tuned for a lot more videos in general. So that being said, that's the end of this video, folks. I hope you enjoyed this amazing happy news. And again, I can't stress this enough, but stay tuned for more videos because there's gonna be more. There will be more, folks. So look forward to it as much as I am.